Hello FPL managers, and welcome to this week's second FPL video of the week, focusing on Game Week 16, which is coming up this weekend. We'll be looking at my Game Week 15 predictions, how my team did in the midweek fixtures of Game Week 15, my transfer for Game Week 16, as well as the starting lineup for this weekend, before finishing on who I think will be the best players to avoid, pick and take a risk on for this weekend. My midweek Game Week 15 predictions were back to being a strong 2 out of 3 again. Mane picked up an injury just before the game and didn't feature at all in Liverpool's 3-1 win at Burnley, where interestingly Alexander-Arnold didn't start, proving my point that I think FPL managers are still putting a little bit too much faith in Alexander-Arnold and Klopp, and thinking that he's definitely cemented a place in the starting 11 for every game, but I don't think he has just yet. I think he was very lucky to actually come on so early, and that was just because of the injury to Gomez. As for my pick of the week, Harry Kane was in fine form, grabbing 12 points at home to a struggling Saints side in a one-sided match that I had predicted would occur. I knew the magic wouldn't happen for the Saints straight away, and an away tie to Tottenham Hotspur was just too much to handle. But sadly, it wasn't to be a hat-trick again this week, as Hernandez couldn't pick up more than 2 points, despite West Ham winning 3-1 at home to Cardiff. As for my team this week, I ended up with 46 points, and I had said that finally my midfield would do something, and they did, only to be hugely let down by my defence. My usual go-to guys let me down this week. I hadn't thought Trippier would actually feature this week, and if he did, I thought maybe he'd just get a few minutes to get some match fitness back, but there you go, 6 points lost on the bench. So who did come on? Well, Duffy did, and he really let the side down because he got sent off and -2 points, seeing red, whilst Arnautovic went off after only, I think it was 39 minutes of the game, so I lost some through injuries and through a sending off, so that's kept my points down. I was looking for about 50 plus points, unfortunately didn't quite make it, and I was also unfortunate because Shaqiri picked up some great points, and sadly, of course he picks up the points just after he leaves my side. I swap him for Felipe Anderson, who only picks up 2 points. Overall, it was a mixed bag and a difficult game week ahead as well in the future. For Game Week 16, with 6 members of the squad being a doubt for this weekend. This week's transfer sees one, something a little bit crazy I guess, but it is necessary. For the first time in a long time, in seasons gone by, will I not have Sergio Aguero in my side for a while. He makes way for Aubameyang. So first of all, I know Arnautovic is out until the new year, and I will be changing him in the future, but right now I had to go with Aubameyang. He and Arsenal face Huddersfield, Southampton and Burnley in the next 3 game weeks, and this is the top scorer of the Premier League right now. I cannot leave him out of the side. And whilst Wilson is in hot form for Bournemouth, they don't have an easy run. And with Aguero still not fit and not playing more than 65 minutes anyway, it felt like it was time for a new top striker. That gives me time to either next week replace Arnautovic for Wilson, or perhaps even throw in a really cheap striker in there to improve my midfield. But either way, I think it's essential at some point that I need to get a Man City player back in this side alongside another Liverpool player. But one area of my squad is going to have to suffer for that to happen. Moving on to Game Week 16, starting 11, and for this game week, it sees us stick with the 3-5-2 and the ever-present Ben Foster in goal. The back three sees Trippier join the lineup for the Leicester game, whilst Robertson heads to the South Coast to face Bournemouth, and Alonso has a tough tie at home to Manchester City. The midfield 5 remains the same, with Everton paired Richarlison and Sigurdsson at home to Watford. Hazard will be trying to impress against a top Manchester City side, whilst I'll be looking at Martial and Felipe Anderson to score some points because they're playing against Fulham and Palace, but Martial is a doubt for this game week. Up top sees new man Aubameyang alongside Rondon, who managed a great 9-point haul for me midweek by scoring away at Everton, coming off the bench into the side to really help me out this game week. The bench sees an injured Arnautovic and a suspended Duffy, leaving Wan-Bissaka as the only available outfield substitute, meaning that if those yellow doubts in my side don't play, then I'll really need the lads that do play this week to have one hell of a game week. Now let's look towards the play predictions for game week 16 and who to avoid, pick and take a risk on this week. So for my play to avoid, I'm going to go with my own player, Marcos Alonso. I just feel that the Manchester City attack is always going to score, and with Chelsea looking vulnerable at the back once more right now, I can't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet, nor can I see Alonso being able to attack so much with a much faster Kyle Walker looking to constantly bomb forward and get behind the Chelsea fullbacks. I don't think City are going to smash Chelsea at home, but I do feel like they'll score and Alonso won't be able to contribute too much to the Chelsea attack. Of course, he might always sneak in a free kick, but we'll have to wait and see. But being the most expensive FPL defender, I would certainly avoid bringing him into your side this week. My player pick of the week has to be in form Aubameyang. Arsenal are finding a bit of form at the moment, and the Premier League's top scorer must be chomping at the bit to get out there against one of the league's worst defences in Huddersfield Town at home, and I'd be surprised and disappointed if we don't see at least 8 points from him this week. The only downside and risk here could be that Unai Emery might start him on the bench due to the fixture being a little easier than others, and especially with the always busy Christmas period coming up very shortly. The player to take a risk on for me this week is going to have to be Richarlison. At 7 million, the Everton man is playing as the main striker right now, and he's up against his old club Watford, and I just feel a player like Richarlison relishes playing against former clubs and showing them just what they're missing. On top of that, Watford find themselves in a poor run of form, especially away from home, and Everton will no doubt be wanting to push and take 3 points from the Hornets this weekend. So that's it for the look at game week 16. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, maybe leave a like and subscribe. Also in the comments below, put who you are thinking of taking a risk on for game week 16. Take care guys, and as always, have a good one.